Hello, my name is Joan, Dobbie, and I want to thank you, Gayatri, for inviting me to come and read for the Brown Critique new YouTube channel. I am working on a manuscript. Can't seem to stop writing these poems, which I will share with you, at least some of them. And this is my friend Cleo, who wants to kiss me while I'm reading. The name of the manuscript, the name of the book when it comes out, which I hope it will eventually, is Pandemic Soap. COVID-19 inspired triolets and other poems. I have a bunch of them. So here we go. The first one is kind of an introduction. It's called In a Nutshell. We had a great party. We danced and we kissed and we played hug-a-war. But then I got sick, and my neighbors got sick, and my sister got sick. My brother did too, but it wasn't so bad till our grandma got sick. And your grandma did too, and death filled up the news. Fear of death followed, and then came the rules. Schools closed, work closed. Money came in the mail, but it wasn't enough. Friends came by on Zoom, but it didn't quite work. Loneliness loomed. Boredom took over. Men beat their women almost to death, and the jails couldn't keep them. And so they came home. Women snapped at their kids. The kids stared at their phones. The sun came out brightly, but it wasn't enough. We had to wear masks, and our breathing came hard. The roses were blooming as ever, but we couldn't smell them. And then came the riots, and then came the fires, and still, every day, the sun rises. I'm skipping a few, and here comes another. It's called The Demon Foe. This vicious demon hides within our very bodies, silent, invisible, everywhere in all the world. We're fighting without weapons, an enemy that seems invincible. This vicious demon hides within our very bodies, silent, invisible, wears many masks, a changeling, unpredictable, with claws well sharpened, cat-like, countless daggers all unfurled. This vicious demon hides within our very bodies, silent, invisible, everywhere in all the world. Well, now soon we'll have a vaccine, and that might be a way to fight it. We'll see. From tree to tree, the mourning dove. From tree to tree, the mourning dove coos and hoots her morning song that aches within my heart's own aching song. Night after night, I lie in bed alone and wake at dawn to that same haunting song. The dove is calling to her distant mate, who's calling back in far-off soulful song. I've lost so many whom I've loved, my every breath another labored song. My breathing self a grove of trees, inhabited by mourning doves, their moaning song. Last night I broke a precious vow, while God set down his cup of wine and let me go. I woke this morning deep in heartache, lost in shame and worry for us both, while God set down his cup of wine and let me go. I tried to breathe out free, but breath came hard and slow. The truth an awful weight to carry, one drop of blood become a lake, while God set down his cup of wine and let me go. I woke this morning deep in heartache. Visitation. It happens each morning. The same flock of tiny brown birds appears in my yard to bless my burgeoning fruit trees. I'm honored almost beyond words. Each morning the same flock of tiny brown birds arrives in silence, or sometimes they chirp, settle sweetly on branches and tickle the leaves. It happens each morning the same flock of tiny brown birds appears in my yard to bless my burgeoning fruit trees. House arrest. And so I leave my prison home, put on my pretty flower mask, and face the lively world in bloom. They say, don't touch your face. It seems a simple task. And so I leave my prison home and put on my pretty flower mask. But now my nose begins to itch, a hair pokes in my eye, I can't unmask. I wish I were home again, but who can live on Zoom alone? And so I leave my prison home, put on my pretty flower mask, and face the lively world in bloom. My little dog. My dog is very small, but her appetite is large. Last night she ate a long dead rat. This morning, just a snail. My shriek of no fell flat without the slightest charge. My dog is very small, but her appetite is large, as the alligator's maw, and I'm clearly not in charge of her dietary choices. My greatest efforts fail. My dog is very small, but her appetite is large. Last night she ate a long dead rat. This morning, just a snail. Freedom on a sunny day. Pretty boy on his sister's bike doubles back, just missing us, the dogs and me. We're all getting masks, he shouts out loud, shouting just for shouting's sake. Pretty boy on his sister's bike, outside at last, in ecstasy remembers what outside is like. My dad's a zombie, mom's a butterfly, Batman for me. Pretty boy on his sister's bike doubles back, just missing us, the dogs and me. His new pandemic pup. That puppy is adorable, a poodle pup of sorts. But when they walk together, people stop to coo and pet, which nowadays feels creepy, like everyone has warts. That puppy is adorable, a poodle pup of sorts. But walking her, like gambling, has become a dangerous sport. He'd almost rather keep her in, his secret love, his winning bet. That puppy is adorable, a poodle pup of sorts. But when they walk together, people stop to coo and pet. And so it goes. Or Hitler's dream come true. We're dying fast, the poor, the weak, the elderly. Just the young and strong are left, with aching hearts. And who knows what they carry now, or who they'll be. We're dying fast, the poor, the weak, the elderly. They say stay home. We do for now. What happens next, we'll see. While nature takes a cleansing breath and flowers bloom on empty streets, we're dying fast, the poor, the weak, the elderly. Just the young and strong are left, with aching hearts. Howl for George Floyd. We howl against the mask of horror as life and death turn inside out, and peace explodes with brutal murder. We howl against the mask of horror in the name of peace and order. Cities burn, we bleed and shout. We howl against the mask of horror as life and death turn inside out. Earth Mother in remission. Her starlight, her moonlight, her sunlight is brightening. For just these few moments, her agony lifting, she can breathe freely again. With great sighs of relief, her smog is dispersing. For just those few moments, her agony lifting, her shy, frightened creatures emerge out of hiding, while we, her disease, hole up deep in our dens. For just these few moments, her agony lifting, she can breathe freely again. But now we're opening up a little bit. Bright lights and traffic. They want me to work, but the traffic is crazy, and wherever I look, the world's full up with people. I got to like it at home, my sweet yard bright with daisies. They want me to work, but the traffic is crazy. I'm not ready, you see, it's not that I'm lazy. It's more like I can't leave my yard and feel peaceful. They want me to work, but the traffic is crazy. And wherever I look, the world's full up with people. Working together. We were sitting so close, I was breathing your breath. That familiar joining I used to love. But now that I fear it could carry death. We were sitting so close, I was breathing your breath. This working together is something I dread. My instincts were screaming, back off, man, just move. We were sitting so close, I was breathing your breath. That familiar joining I used to love. That woman. The park was opened up so that woman brought her kids. The sign by the slide and swing said no, but that woman, she said yes. What good's a park, the kids complained, if we can't ride the rides? The park was opened up, so that woman brought her kids to set them free for just a bit, and now the park forbids? 4 kids all going wild at home, her house and brains a mess. The park was opened up, so that woman brought her kids. The sign by the slide and swing said no, but that woman, she said yes. Forests all around were up in flames. It was 8 a.m., the sky was black as midnight. I thought my clocks had all gone bad. The sun, a bright red ball of light. It was 8 a.m., the sky was black as midnight. Brilliant, mysterious, magical morning night. I was more intrigued than scared or sad. It was 8 a.m., the sky was black as midnight. I thought my clocks had all gone bad. Breath. Please stop, he'd gasped. Between the killer's knee, I can't breathe. Please stop, he'd gasped. Beneath the killer's knee, I can't breathe. And then came the riots. Please help, she gasped in the crowded hospital hallway. I can't breathe. Death followed and followed again and again. And then our world burst out in flames. Our sky turned black, our sun turned red. Ash fell like dirty snow and settled on our roofs, on our trees, inside the membranes of our lungs. For just about 11 days we gasped and almost couldn't breathe. Election time. Lining up for the vote. November 2020. They're all just plain people. The young ones, the old ones, the ones in the weird, grinning Halloween masks. The ones in the bright, sunny, save your life masks. They're all just plain people. Even the ones you see brazenly burying their stark, naked faces. Some of them brought their chairs to the game. The young ones, the old ones, they're all just plain people. Some of them brought a picnic along. This one is holding the hand of his podmate. This one is standing alone in the shadows, sipping Gatorade maybe, or even just water. They're all just plain people. This one is wearing a lavender mask. This one is wearing a scarf made of stars. This one is coughing germs into the air. This one is throwing a frisbee. This one is catching a frisbee. Some of them standing in deep, silent boredom. Some of them smoking, their smoke in clouds rising. Some of them breathing out steam into the icy, cold northeastern morning, huddled up in their hoodies. Some of them staring down at their feet. They're just plain people. Some of them calling across a safe distance. Some of them standing too close for comfort, telling each other to back off and shut up. Some of them don't even speak the same language. This one's so young she can't talk at all. Just one plain little toddler riding high as a princess on her dad's shoulders. And all of her life she'll be telling the story that yes, she remembers, and what she remembers of that fateful week when the world held its breath. And among other things happening in this crazy time of our lives, scammers are rampant. And I got caught by one. This poem came out of that. Apple support scammer. This is Apple support calling, Apple support calling. Come get your delicious Apple support. I'm a foolish old woman, hungry old woman, starving I fall for sweet Apple support. Hook, line, and sinker, I rob myself blind. Happy I danced for my Apple support. This is Apple support calling, Apple support calling. Come get your delicious Apple support. He sang in my pocket, devoured my laptop, swallowed my future, that Apple support. This is Apple support calling, Apple support calling. Come get your delicious Apple support. I'm a foolish old woman, hungry old woman, starving I fell for sweet Apple support. Blessing, December 7th, 2020. I woke this morning bathed in sunrise, an impossibly bright pink shimmering that bled from sky to earth and rose from earth to sky. All day I wore this morning's blessing like a gentle lover's arm around my shoulder. All day I knew, despite it all, we'd be all right. Thank you very much for listening.
Well, hello there. Thank you so much for stopping by and watching this video on our Brown Critic channel. We'd really appreciate and really love it if you watched all our other videos and liked them. Make sure to subscribe to the channel as well. Stay well, take care of yourself, and until the next time, bye for now.